Hey guys, we watched the movie. Jay, Mike, we watched the movie. Do the hustle. Do.
That just happened.
I did the American
I'm so sorry. It's directed by David O. Russell, the director of The Fighter, the director of Three Kings, the director of Silver Plating
Wow.
Playbook, the director of My Life.
Gets around.
And it stars Mark Wahlberg, no. It stars Christian Bale, Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence, and Bradley Cooper.
And Jeremy Renner.
And Jeremy Renner.
And Spice.
There's a great cameo by one of the all-star, fucking amazing Martin Scorsese gangster film guys. You'll know who he is when you see it if you haven't seen the movie already. But
Jimmy
it's
two
a secret.
times. He's in it.
I'm gonna go get the paper. Get the paper.
Christian Bale plays a con man who gets people to give him money on a basis that they're going to get a loan from him, and he has no intentions of giving them shit. And he's been doing this for a while. Amy Adams comes on board later on, and she's into the same kind of shit. Helps him get his business going, but they get busted. Bradley Cooper, the FBI, and he wants them to use their contacts to bust 4 big insurance scam bank loan guys or whatever it is. I can't remember what.
Not insurance, but loans.
Loans, yeah, loan guys, like
Loans.
loan scams. They're loan sharks, fuckers.
Loans.
But they're not even loan sharks because they don't like really go after you. You don't pay because they don't even have the money to give it to you anyways.
Well, yeah, but they never actually give you the money. They just take
Yeah,
it.
but you got to be a goddamn great salesman. It's like, you know what? Give me $5,000. I'm gonna give you 50.
Lady Edith Greensley.
Really?
I didn't like it when she did that accent.
Yeah.
I mean, Amy Adams is hot to me, but whenever she went into British mode, I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
You're
I wish
not
she
British.
just stuck with like Bronx.
Why do you gotta lie to me? Why do women lie?
What do women want?
Why do women fucking lie?
Why? Overall, like this movie, with as far as acting goes, was freaking amazing.
Yes.
The actors, every single one of them, like completely transformed.
That's a
into this
pure
character.
10 out of 10, the acting in this movie, the
Yeah.
character transformation. And Christian Bale, by the time it's said and done, if not already, is going to be the greatest, if not the greatest actor of our generation.
He's
Did I
amazing.
just say the greatest, if not the
I don't know if
greatest?
he's the greatest.
Well, that's because there's no question about it. The guy transforms so deeply into roles, and he loses weight, and he gains weight, and he does all this shit. And maybe that's why he wasn't that great as Batman. Don't get me wrong, I love the Chris Nolan movies. I still love Christian Bale's Batman. But he goes so far into his characters that in Batman, it came off as a bit too much with the... Where are the drugs going? Yeah, just the
Guys,
voice.
yeah, I mean, if he had just kind of.
He was so sexual when he talked to the Joker, you know? He was like, these people just told you.
Christian Bale is one of those guys that he can do like. He can still exude confidence even if he weighs like 3,000 pounds. Like he really like. There's one scene where he's laying back in his like little lawn chair in his house.
That was the whole point.
And he's got his big belly sticking out. And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And maybe I was like, there was something about it that was just so sexy. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So
He was listening
able
to that song, he was like...
He's like, "Wait, it was Duke Ellington." He was like, "Here it comes."
That's Christian Bale, though, and that's what David O. Russell wanted in that part, but that was perfect, because he was fat, he had this big, nasty fucking belly, he had this dirty comb over, and he was fucking hilarious in that movie. That movie's, it's a funny movie first and foremost, because it's just hilarious. From the very beginning, when Bradley Cooper's down there, you don't quite know the story yet, and Bradley Cooper's like, he's like, you had sex with her, didn't you, or whatever. He's like, all I did was touch your face like this. And he was like, don't fucking do that. He's like, I don't fucking like that. I don't fucking like that. And then he messes up his comb over, and
he stands there.
Yeah, there's like 5 minutes where he's just like...
He messed up his comb over and his hair was sticking all up. He looked like the flock of seagulls.
Jennifer Lawrence in this movie.
She was amazing.
That little small part, it was shocking because it's not the type of shit she usually does, but she was hot as hell like she always is. I mean, I would
do things to her that are illegal in
I
19
would buy
countries.
her shiitake mushrooms, and I'd cook
And you're gonna eat it.
a plate
And you're gonna like it.
of food.
But yeah, she was great because she was able. She's one of those actresses like you wouldn't like. I don't know, when you see her, you're like, maybe she's gonna be another like cutesy face Hollywood actress that's gonna kind of go by the wayside in a few years. But she's able to extend herself and make her like she can do all sorts of roles.
Sometimes she's almost too cool because she's kind of annoying. It's like, why are you so cool?
Yeah, sometimes you hear in interviews, sometimes it's more like hipster. She's like, I don't even care.
Yeah, it's like,
you know you fucking care.
but I love her.
Yeah, so she was great in this. Amy Adams, you know.
I would take her out for some nice chicken of the cave.
Amy Adams?
Well, her and Jennifer Lawrence.
Actually, the thing is with Amy Adams, I like Amy Adams a lot. I think she's a good actress also. But the thing is, she seems like she plays the same kind of character role in a lot of her movies. You know, like that. I'm the tough girl, but I'm really nice. But I'm gonna beat your ass if I have to. Like that. She's like hard edged in a lot of her movies. I know it's great. I'm just saying that she seems like she's always that kind of character. Like you know, in Man of Steel, she was Lois Lane. You know, hard edged news reporter. But I'm still like.
She was kind of a floozy though.
Yeah, but not as much.
That wasn't a portion.
And then in The Fighter, the same way. You know, she was the Fighter. With how she was in The Fighter.
So what's head body? Head body.
Good head. But yeah, but she was also in the way that she portrayed her character in The Fighter is almost reminiscent of how she portrayed her in this one. I mean, you know, she's kind of like, she's really seductive and she's able to convince you to do something, but she's also like hard edged.
She's also the girl next door. Like in Superman, when she's talking to that reporter and she's like, scotch on the rocks. And she's just like downs it and slams it down and that guy's like,
I want to marry you, but I know you're going to wear my fucking dick as an earring.
I would love it.
As an earring?
Yeah.
Cut your wiener off.
I don't know how that works.
So she is. That's actually what she is, a man-eater. Whoa, here she comes.
Jeremy Renner's got like overlooked in this movie, and his character, I really liked his character in this movie because he was like, he was doing stuff that I don't spoil anything, but he was doing stuff that was bad, but he was doing it for the good of the city.
Yeah,
like he was still trying to be a good guy, and when he beats, or I can't say that, but when he gets pissed off about it and he lets that fly, it's like, man, that was a really good character that doesn't get enough just.
You can kind of feel sympathetic for him. I didn't personally, but
I did.
But he does exude that. Like you can say, oh, I kind of get where you're coming from, but you know, still you're pretty stupid. I mean, you took this deal, you know what's going on, and you still do it. But okay, Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is a sleazy ass motherfucker in this, and he portrays it perfectly, even with his little Jericho.
You never know in this movie, though. You never know who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. In these kind of movies, you typically, if you like the movie, you're kind of rooting for the bad guy a little bit. You're
That's the best kind of movie.
Yeah, because it kind of follows his story, and you sympathize with him. In this movie, Bradley Cooper was technically the good guy. I mean, he was technically the clop.
The clops?
What the fuck is a clop?
I have clops in my closet.
Clydesdales. But he was, I mean,
clogging shoes.
Yeah, at first it's like, okay, maybe he's the good guy, he's the righteous, moral guy, and then things changed, and we won't give anything away. But yeah, he got on your fucking nerves. It was a great acting performance by him, though.
Yeah.
Like, but he was kind of, the way he was kind of neurotic towards Amy Adams and shit, and the way he was neurotic towards everything, and the go back and forth between him and Christian Bale was awesome. He did great in this movie, too.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's almost like an obsessive psycho.
Yeah.
Like, he really is. Like, Bradley Cooper's one of those guys, like, he seems like he's got his head on straight, and he's going to be like the guy, you know, charging with the white flag. I'm going to fix everything. Everything's okay. And then all of a sudden, he's a fucking psycho. He's
powerful.
Like, why can't we have sex? Well, he wants to have sex with Amy Adams, and she's like, I don't want to have sex with you. He's like, ah!
There's all sorts of small role parts in this, like Louis C.K.'s in this, stuff like that, and it's pretty cool. And like there's a surprise actor towards the end of the movie that just blows your fucking mind. It's like, that's perfect. Because this whole movie, though, and that's the acting. First off, the acting, both of us, I think we agree, 10 plus.
Perfect. I mean, the plot wasn't like anything like special,
but it never felt important. It bounced around, and it was just kind of like, I'm still enjoying watching these characters, but what's happening?
That's the thing. These actors are so good in their parts, like you were just focused on them only. You didn't give really a shit about the overall scope of the story, where it was going on, what was happening. It almost seemed like they would like start here, and this is going to happen here, and then they would go on to something else and leave this dangling. You know, I'm like, what? I don't know. I guess, you know, you're right. The guy was just like, let's just focus on characters and not worry about story.
Yeah, and it's still made for a great fucking movie, but it's just that it did lack something in there. And I love this movie. I could watch it again and again and again, but there are some parts where you're just kind of like, why do I care about what's happening other than what's happening to him?
Christian Bale is one of those characters. Like, he's the only character in this movie to me that changed. Like, he actually went from being all about himself and being an egotistical, sociopathic kind of guy, like, I'm going to do what's best for me. And he gets Amy Adams, and then later on in the movie, you see him actually caring for somebody else because he becomes friends with somebody in the movie. I'm not going to tell you who, but he becomes friends with them. And he's like, I really feel sorry. And he goes to their house, and he's like, and he's apologizing.
I see that. I mean, he changes. Amy Adams is so mysterious that you never really know what her intentions are, so she can't really change that much. And then Bradley Cooper just becomes more ferocious. The soundtrack was great. It fit with the movie well. There was so much comedy in this movie. This movie had such a Martin Scorsese feel to it, more than Wolf of Wall Street even did. It did. I mean, this felt more Scorsese than Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't know about that. No, because they never broke the fourth wall like Martin Scorsese does it.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. Though.
Yeah, but in Goodfellas and shit like that, and then you go to Wolf of Wall Street when they're talking at the camera.
The voiceovers, the Goodfellas type voiceovers. It
had a Scorsese starch on it, but not like it didn't have like full on Scorsese. He's out there.
You threw me. You were like starch, and then I was over here.
You don't starch your fucking shirts.
I don't. You know, And you know what my wife does? She leaves shit in the dryer forever because she doesn't want to hang it, so it just keeps getting more wrinkled, and then the buttons. Now I'm going to give this movie a 9.0. I loved it. It has its flaws, but it's such a fucking enjoyable movie to watch, and people really don't make movies like this anymore, so it stands out for today. Maybe if it was made 20 years ago, I know that sounds fucked up, I would have given it an 8.5, but it's so rare to have a movie like this today. I gotta give it the 9.0.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I guess this movie was made 20 years ago in my head. Okay, but I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I think it's a great character-driven movie. I think if you go to see this movie and you're like, oh my god, the actors are fucking amazing, and I want to see a movie with great actors and great performances, you're gonna get all that with this movie. The only thing is, I think the plot is a little bit overdrawn. It's a little bit overextended. Your dick's kind of hanging out in the wind a little bit too long than it should be, and it's gonna get fucking cross-chat. But you know, it's still a good movie. It's still it's not a gangster movie, but it kind of has that feel to it. It does have a little bit of a Scorsese feel. And overall, it's still an enjoyable movie. I don't know if I couldn't watch this back to back. I could probably watch it a few months later. I'm bored. I'm like, I'm going to pop this in. Fuck it, let's watch it. But I couldn't watch it like back to back to back to back to back. Like, I can watch Wolf of Wall Street like right away. Like I could, the movie's over, I want to watch it again.
Yeah. What's your favorite Christian Bale like crazy performance?
American Psycho.
American Psycho? I would go with that, but I have to do different because you did different. So I'm going to say... Fuck it, I'm going to say The Machinist.
That's a good one. That was
he
nasty.
was fucked up. In
I couldn't even
movie.
watch it. He was
gross.
so dirty.
Yeah,
Get a goddamn hamburger.
He went deep and dark, but
the American Psycho, dude, like to
Yeah.
me, the American Psycho, that was
the
probably
best.
That's the pinnacle.
The best. I like beans. And I'm
know.
Mike. He's Jay. We'll see you guys next time when we watch the movie.
See you guys.
We watched a movie.